memorize it and having started playing it and have fun with it. Okay, now we start off with some chords, very simple chords. It's an E minor to a D major. Then we will switch to a C, and then a last E weird minor chord. I'm just going to talk about it and say where to put the fingers for that as well, but you can read that on the tab. Now, on E minor, you just want to put your index on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. That's counting from down up, our middle bass. And then on the 2nd fret again, but on the 4th string, the one under it, your middle badass finger, right down there, and you've got your E minor. We want to strum this hard. We want to have a loud sound. So it's good to use all of the nails, the back of the nails, downwards with a large opening movement. And when we strum, we want to use also the pinky here, the skin actually, to softly touch the strings, all of them. Hope you can see this one. Very softly and without pressing down. This will kill or mute the note, so we have a more staccato sound. Yeah? We can have without the pinky, but then we have this sound. It's keep going, and we don't want that because we're going to start our melody. Now, our melody starts everything on the 1st string. It's quite fun to do. We play an open 1st string, then with our index we go down on the 2nd fret, and the middle badass finger goes down on the 3rd fret. Try to keep your index there throughout. It's going to make everything much easier. Lift the middle finger up and you're already on the 2nd fret because we left the index there, and we play. Now we have this first 4 notes. If we put them together, we should sound like this. Don't go fast. It still sounds beautiful when you play it slow. Yeah? Now here we want to do a little stretch. Make sure you keep your index there and go with your pinky on the 5th fret of the 1st string, always here. Then remove the pinky and put down back the middle finger again on the 3rd fret. Up on the 2nd fret and back down on the 3rd. So we should have, we'll finish right here on the 3rd. Now I want you to imagine that we're going to play an E minor, but we're not going to play it as a chord, we're going to play it as the finishing of the melody. Meaning, if I finish it with a note, and it finishes on this first open, I can finish it though with a chord. So imagine that that chord is not the start of your next phrase but the end of your previous one. I hope I made sense. Right after we strum that, we're going to do exactly the same falsetto with the difference on the last note. Again, you can see that on the tab. We go to an open one. As before we were going that by going to the open E, it just opens up the door, if you were to say, to go to the next chord. So from the top, nice and slow, here we go. Now we shape a D major chord. You want to put on the 3rd string your index on the 2nd fret, on the 2nd string on the 3rd fret your ring finger, and then your middle badass finger on the 1st string on the 2nd fret. Yeah? We're going to apply the same technique of staccato we did on the E minor. We're going to strum with the back of our nail, nice and hard, and plug to stop. Now if you get a sound that's the bass didn't stop because we didn't cover the whole strings, and we get something like, and it's still sounding the bass, no problem, it's still beautiful, because the bass will not interfere with the sound of the melody. And try on the D major chord not to strum everything. The first 2 top basses, you really don't want to hit them, they will sound a little bit off. Yeah? Alright, so from here, finishing up. Now our little 2nd falsetto starts on the 2nd string while we're holding this D. I like to call it a triangle because it shapes a triangle. Helps me remember. I'm going to play here the 2nd string while pressing on the 3rd fret for the D chord, and lift your middle finger from the D chord as you press down. Why? Because your next note, again if you check on your tabs, it's an open first string, so you want to be ready for it. Then put down that middle finger again on the second fret of the first string. Lift it up again and play open. One last time. Now our middle finger is up. We're still keeping these two fingers here because they will help us. We're soloing while we're holding a chord, and it's really going to help us to go faster to the next strum. So the pinky goes down now on the first string again, but on the third fret. And then lift the pinky, put the middle back down on your D chord on the second fret. So we will have, then lift up, open the first string. And to finish it off, you want to play the second string again where you started on the third fret. Now let's do it nice and slow. Here we're going to strike again the D chord with a break. Again, imagine that it's the end of your melody, not the beginning. Here I did exactly the same second falsetto. There's no actual differences on the last notes. But we will still change chord. We're going to go to the C major chord. Now, the C major, you want to put down your ring finger on the third fret of the fifth string, the middle bass, and your middle badass finger on the second fret of the fourth string, and your index down on the first fret of the second string. Again, the pinky is free, so that can help us to do the sound of staccato with the C major. So right there we finish our melody from there, from the D major. And we're here at our last falsetto for part A. Be patient, guys. Don't do the whole video all together. Just pause it right here. Go back. Feel free. Memorize the whole thing. When I first started learning this, when I started playing the guitar, and I bit off a bit more than I could chew, because I knew it had to be faster and I couldn't do the fingers. And actually I said, it doesn't matter, it's such a beautiful piece, I can just play it slow. And that's what I did. I used only my thumb. Here I didn't do a lot of staccato, because when you play slower you don't need to stop the note, it will just collide with the smooth way of playing it. Anyway, we're getting off course here, so let's go to our last falsetto. So we strum down the C chord and we do a staccato sound. And right here you want to keep your index where it is, just lift the other two fingers and plug that on the first fret where you are on the second string for your first note of your melody. Then put your ring finger down on the third fret on the second string. Then play the E string, that's the first string, open. Down with your index on the second fret. And then it's exactly like our first falsetto, the second version. Fifth fret on the first string, pinky, middle finger third, then index on the second, and open. So from the C major, then go back to your C major the second time, and strum it again. And here comes this nice little twist of melodic sound. We're going to have the first three notes exactly the same as we just learned. But now our ring finger, which is left there on the third fret of the second string, will slide one fret down on the fourth. It will sound completely out of tune, but for some reason it fits beautifully. And now we're going to have a little pull off. Put down your index on the second fret of the first string and pluck, and as you pluck, bend the string backwards and release it. And right after you release it, pluck your second string where you left off. Hopefully we still have our ring finger on the fourth fret of the second string, and do a little jump-de-dump up on the first fret of the second string. So one last time, this last falsetto. It might be a little bit weird, but give it some time, you'll have it down in no time. And we're very close now, guys, a little bit more. We're going to put down our middle badass finger once again on the 5th string on the 2nd fret, but the ring finger now will go on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret, and pluck with your thumb that 5th string, with your index the 3rd, and with your middle of your right hand the 2nd together. And we continue to a little last falsetto, which feels a little bassy. Right here with the 2 fingers, in order to save time, you want to put your index straight away down on the 4th string on the 1st fret. Plug that to start your melody, and then go with your pinky on the 4th fret. Just so it doesn't get confusing, let's play these last few things together from the slide after the C staccato hit. So that will be. What happens there, you want to think of as this little chord that we're plucking here with the 3 fingers as the beginning, the first note of your melody. Practice 3 times getting this, because the hand is hard to go from picking to picado position. So practice only this movement, and then we're doing ragtime blues. Alright, so practice that one, and then put down your pinky on the 4th fret as we said, and then the middle finger will go on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret, and then lift that up and play the 3rd string open. One more time slow. Back with your pinky where it is on the 4th fret of the 4th string. Back up with your middle badass finger on the 2nd fret, the same 4th string. And we finish up on the 1st fret. It might not sound exactly as you heard it on the video, or you're going to hear it now actually. So what happens there again, I'm doing the staccato technique but on individual notes. It makes it sound a little bit more jumpy. You can do it more mellow by, and the notes are lasting, or you can kill the note by softly lifting your finger where you pressed. So don't press and leave, press and release. That will give you a more staccato feel. You heard the last time, that was not a staccato in it. And lastly, a few easy trills on the bass. You can use your thumb, you can use your or your pedal, whatever you prefer, guys. And we're actually again, big surprise, on the 5th string on the 2nd fret. Pluck once, then put your middle finger down, keep the index where it is on the next fret, that's the 3rd one. Now we're going to lift the middle finger, keep the index where it is on the 2nd fret, and pluck that 5th bass, and we're going to do a hammer-on pull-off. That's where we'll put down the middle back again on the 3rd fret and release it up. Lift it up to an open string. There, the staccato, when it's open, you'll have to use your other finger to stop it. So we have, or the left. And last notes on the 6th fret, 3rd and 2nd. Well, that's it, guys. I hope I broke it down well enough for you. Some of you might tell me maybe it's too much, but I always know that some of you really appreciate the complete broken down version. And you've done it, you finished your first part. I'm very excited to do this, and I want to thank one more time all of you for your lovely comments on the previous video. I couldn't wait to do this lesson. I was very excited. It's actually 4 in the morning now here, but doesn't matter. I wanted to do it. I'm busy with the dance school at the same time, but I know it gives you guys pleasure, and it gives me 10 times back more. Now, if you start learning this and you would like to share it, just come over to our Facebook group or come to my Facebook page. You can post there and ask anything you like, and I'm trying to help as many of you as I can. Thank you for watching. Make sure you comment and rate, share the video if you like it, and God bless. See you on the next video, guys. guys, how you doing? Give Lose It here, and we're off for part 2 of a beautiful flamenco piece. Now I would like to start off by saying I'm sorry and I apologize for being late with this video, but I had a seasonal flu. It lasted me more than a week. That's more than I could handle, and I'm almost 50% back on track. But I know I promised every single one of you out there, we've been talking through comments, through emails to finish it, and I did. I'm doing it right now. And I also finished the tabs. You can go and check them on my website, open them in a different tab and practice along with this video. So here we go, let's get started. It's a beautiful part of double falsettos. We will learn one on the bottom strings on the treble, and then following it up with the bass. First one was on the treble strings, the next one was on the bass. Nothing too difficult. If you read the tabs it might get confusing, but I'm going to show here the finger settings note for note, and we're going to have so much fun with it. So we start off by plucking the first string, but playing it on the 7th fret with the index. I apologize for some background traffic. It's just 2 o'clock in the morning. I was hoping it would be more quiet than this. And the ring finger will go on the 2nd string on the 8th fret. You also want to pluck the top E bass, this top one here. Don't worry about it, we only use the bass twice, and this is half of it. And I like to use the middle and the ring finger for the 2nd and the 1st string, but it's clearly up to you. You can also use the index in the middle. I don't know why I prefer this one, maybe I like the balance easier. So we pluck these 3 strings together. Then you move this left hand shape 1 fret higher for both of them. The index on the 1st string on the 6th fret, and on the 7th fret the 2nd string, the ring finger. Then you pluck those 2 without any basses, and then you move back to the 1st position and you pluck twice. So if you put them together you would have a melody. Then you want to slide even higher, well, it's lower, but it's up higher at the fretboard, and stretch the fingers. It's just a little stretch because we already prepared the position by starting like this. On the 1st string on the 5th fret and on the 7th fret of the 2nd string, the ring finger, and pluck those ones together. Then move 2 frets up, that's the 3rd fret, 1st string, and 5th fret, 2nd string. So slowly together. Then go back down to your 5th and 7th fret and pluck the 3rd bass. That's the 4th string, counting from down up. And again we play it twice, but this time we added a bass on the 1st one. One more time slow, let's play it together. A little speed. So we went up to that 2nd shape and back down again. We played double. Then up again. You know this shape, that's why I'm just saying up. And then squeeze the fingers again. So the 1st string is being pressed on the 2nd fret with your index, and the 2nd string on the 3rd fret. So from here would be and 5th fret. And the double quick one, you can either press here or just go 1-1. What's the difference? I really don't know. They both sound quite nice. So again, so I don't get confusing, I was thinking how to break this down, but I hope the tabs are helping. If you watch it slow and play it with me a few times, I'm sure you memorize it, and then you won't need this video. Then back on that 2nd, 3rd fret, squeeze. Yeah. And here it's a swift jump, don't worry about it. We're just going to put the index on the second string on the first fret and plug again the second and first string together. That will be the open string now on the first string of our guitar. Now this is the one before the last note of this falsetto. The last one will be barring all the second fret of your guitar with your index, and just place your pinky. I know the pinky might be a little bit difficult to put on the fourth fret of the second string, and plug the middle bass, the second, first again as before together. Some of you might want to put your ring finger, it might be easier, but for some reason afterwards when we use the middle to solo on this middle bass, it becomes more hard. So when I put the pinky, the joints allow me to have more freedom with my badass finger. So before we start our second falsetto, here it is from the top, nice and slow. Imagine that this is the end, as we talked about, of your first falsetto, and like we talked in the previous video, it's also your beginning of your next falsetto. So when you practice this one, practice it from playing these three strings together. It's a nice little repeat of two notes here. Just put down your middle finger, badass finger of the left hand, on the third fret of the middle bass, that's the fifth string counting from down up, and plug that with your thumb, and then lift it up, so that will be playing with your bar now, the index, which is on the second one. And we do that twice, and we finish on the top bass on the sixth string, which again our bar is on the second fret. So if we put them together, we should have these three strings played for our first beginning note. This is just so much fun to do. Just lift up your bar, aren't we happy to do that? And just slide your pinky one fret more down, and the index will go on the middle bass, again that's the fifth string counting from down up, on the third fret, and plug again that middle bass with the second and first string. And now we want to do that similar melody, bum, be boom, beam, boom, bum, but we do it on this chord. So we have the bottom third bass, or the fourth string counting from down up, plugging it open and returning back to where our index is on the middle bass, and then we go down and up again. So again we have three notes, three strings or three notes put together, and then lift up your index a little jump, hop, on the third fret of the top string to finish the bass melody. Then we slide the pinky back up where it was here along with our bar index, and we do exactly the same thing, just like the previous one where we were in this shape, and then plug once more the middle, second and first string as finishing this falsetto. So if you put them together, the melody sounds like this. Here's our little spider grip. Little jump back to the first shape. You can have a little trill. Right when you plug, you can lift softly so you mute the note. And then we have only these few little single notes. That's the first string open, the first string on the second fret, then jump on the first fret of the second string and open the second string. And that's our two falsettos, playing the tremble and then playing the bass. I don't know which one of these pieces, this part of this piece I love the most. The beginning with the little falsettos, or this one that gives a Mexican flamenco Spanish feel. And I can't wait to teach the third part, which will be our last part, guys. My voice is starting to go away again. Perfect timing. I just finished the video. I hope you guys like it. And if you do, please do comment, rate, and share it with your friends. Anything of support from you is highly appreciated. Hope to see you also on Facebook. Make sure you play daily and keep music in your life forever. God bless, guys. Hey guys, how you doing? It here, and we're off for our last lesson of a beautiful Spanish flamenco piece. Our last 4 notes from the previous lesson to the next part. Now, once again, you can also open at the same time while you're watching this video into another tab, the tabs. Or another window. If you've got a split screen, it's even better, so you have them, or you can print them out. It's on my website. So we got left off on the previous lesson of going with the last 4 notes of the first and second string. Here we want to use the index and the middle left hand finger to take a little E minor chord. It's not very hard to do. Just put your index on the 5th string, the middle bass, on the 2nd fret, and your middle badass finger on the 2nd fret again on the 4th. Here we want to use a little easy pattern. Plug the middle bass, and then the 4th. And then with your index, the 3rd string, and with your middle of your right hand, the 2nd string, while holding the E minor. Now, we can imagine we have a triplet. Right after we play this bass note, now we have a triplet. And that triplet, we're gonna do it one more time. Yeah, so here we want to think of lifting up the index and slide 2 frets down on the 4th string on the 4th fret, and just pluck that went to the 4th or the 2nd and open. At the same time, in between that note, you want to use your middle right hand finger to pluck the open 2nd string. So we have so far it reminds a little bit of malagueña, yeah, playing thumb, middle, or thumb, index. I find it with the middle much easier. One last time and then we continue. Now this shape might be a little bit weird. It reminds me a little bit of a D minor, where you want to place your ring finger on the 4th string, always counting from down up. That's our last bass on the 4th fret. Your index on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and your middle badass finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Here we want to use 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string with the thumb, index, and middle finger. In this case, we're playing like a reverse triplet. First is the bass with the thumb, the 4th string, then is the middle finger on the 2nd, and then the index on the 3rd. The second time we come to this triplet, we're going to plug again with the middle finger, and then with the index, middle, thumb, middle. It might sound a little bit confusing, guys, but it's quite straightforward. You practice that by saying thumb, middle, index, thumb, middle, index, middle, index, middle, thumb, middle. Write them down. And when you're coming to that double repeat, increase the volume, the pressure, the muscle pressure a little bit. So you start soft, like you're putting a little bit wildness into it. Now we're going to do the same pattern, but we're just going to change to a more simpler chord, our C major. Here we want to start it by using first a regular bass on the middle, and then we do the principle of the triplets, but on the same strings as we did before. So we first have this extra bass, I hope I was clear on that one. So we have that extra bass, and this part I really enjoy. It's not hard to do, just from the C major you want to lift up all your fingers, keep the shape of these two fingers, and place the middle on the middle bass. That's the middle badass finger of the left hand on the second fret of the 5th string, and your index will go on the 1st fret of the 4th string. Let's play it without this extra note. There is a note just like before in between each basses, using the 2nd open string with the middle finger. But first let's learn the thumb. The thumb plays once on the 5th string, once on the 4th string. Put your pinky a little bit of a stretch on the 4th fret of the 4th string. Then the 3rd string down with your middle finger on the 2nd fret and lift up and play it open. If we put them together, now the first one we play it without a middle finger on the 2nd open string, but the rest of the notes we want to have that open B string in between. So once again, so we don't get confused, let's play it together. You can either pause the video and practice it with your tabs. The fingerings, we're just doing them as easy as possible, and with a little bit of practice I'm sure you guys can play it in no time. So here we go from the last 4 notes of video number 2. And here we're gonna start once again the same thing, but we started this video by playing that extra bass like we do on the C, but because we finished from a previous run, we want to go straight away to the 3 roll down, middle, index, middle, and then remember this odd looking shape. Now there's a little lift of the middle finger. You notice there's an open 2nd string. I hope you can read it and figure out where it is, but from my point of view is the middle finger passes about 3 times from that 2nd string. So one is pressed with the middle finger on the 3rd fret, the other one is open and the other one is pressed again. Excuse me, so wrong bass. And here we go slow. And the 4th time is just how to finish the pattern. That, I think, is just a change of note to say we're coming towards the end of the falsetta. It's called a llamada, which in Spanish means the call. And then we shape the C major, we play exactly the 5th bass, then the pattern we've learned. And to finish it off, we have, here we did before, but here we want to finish. That's on the 5th string, on the 2nd fret, open, press down on the 3rd fret. Now lift up your middle badass finger, play once, and hammer on pull off from the 3rd to the 2nd, or from the 2nd to the 3rd to the 2nd. Too confusing, isn't it? Then open, then on the 6th, top 6th string here, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, boom, boom. And right here we can jump to the finish, but as I played it in the original video, you want to jump back to what we've learned on the 2nd piece. Play that whole 2nd video throughout all the way to the last notes, and then start again. And here you notice we come exactly the same way that we've learned to finish the 2nd time around, but instead of going back to the 2nd video, we're gonna play this little weird chord. I think we had it in the previous video where we put our middle badass finger on the 5th string on the 2nd fret, and on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret again we put our ring finger. We pluck the 5th, the 3rd and the 2nd string using thumb, index, middle, plug them together, and right here put down your index on the, it's free I hope, the index, on the 1st fret of the 4th string. I think we've learned that on the first video where we pluck this triple notes. But instead of finishing as we've learned on the first video, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, we're going to finish from the 1st to the 2nd, because that gives a sense of completion, of finishing our falsetto. You can use your thumb or back to our little triple shape we just did, and then shape an E minor and strum down. I hope that was easy to explain. I didn't go too much detailed on it because I know you guys heard the video being played and you also have the tabs now, so it's going to make everything, your life much easier. Just slow down and watch the finger shapings. They're really going to help you. Make sure you comment and rate, guys, and share it with your friends on Facebook, on YouTube. Any kind of help is more than welcome. And to finish this video, if you like to learn how to do what's called the abanico technique, where I did to go a little bit faster, well, I already have 2 other videos on that, so you guys can check on one of these ones and have fun with it, learn it, put it in other of your songs and compositions. Come over on Facebook and find our group or the page where we post daily between musicians, our own videos or of our favorite musicians. Thank you for watching. God bless. See you in the next video, guys.